education. B, provision of improved infrastructure and services. This one speaks to SDG number 9, 11 and SDG number 3. SDG number 9 is I've already highlighted above. SDG number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Improved infrastructure and services contribute to creating sustainable cities and communities that are inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Number C, addressing cross-cutting issues such as gender equality and climate change. On gender equality, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, the Ministry has been addressing gender equality issues by ensuring that digital initiatives and infrastructure projects are inclusive and accessible to all genders.
Sorry, Chief Director. Madam Clerk, can somebody assist us with the sound?
Maybe through you, Chair, if they can just lower the volume slightly.
Yeah, this is what I've asked that you look into. Thank you. Our apologies. While we are still attending to this technical glitch, we would ask you to probably use your voice, but just for the sake of time. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'll continue. I'm a preacher, so my voice, I'm sure, can sustain the demands of the room. By promoting women's participation in the digital economy and providing opportunities for women in the ICT sector, the ministry has been contributing to gender equality. Annually, Honorable Chair and members, the happy to know that the Ministry of ICT, Post and Courier Services joins the membership of the International Telecommunication Union to commemorate the International Girls in ICT Day. We draws attention to the critical need to inspire, encourage, and empower more girls and young women to consider careers in the field of information and communication technology, as well as in the broad STEM field. Just recently, Honorable Chair, the Ministry launched a program called SheTech, which whose mandate and objective is to ensure the incorporation of women in ICT-related projects and initiatives. Climate change, the ministry has been addressing climate change by promoting the role out of network operators, rollout by network operators of green telecommunications infrastructure, digital solutions that reduce carbon emissions, the improvement of energy efficiency, and supporting sustainable practices. Honorable Chair and members, the ministry has been actively involved in redistribution of radio network base stations across the country, where previously you would have a situation where each and every operator wants to erect their own radio tower and thereby increase the power usage per site. You would have probably 2 or 3 generators at one site because each one is trying to utilize their own separate infrastructure. We've been encouraging operators to utilize one set of equipment, one set of base station, and that on its own more than halves the carbon emissions when they are powering the base stations using diesel generators, or even when using other forms of electric power or sources of electric power. On the second query, Honorable Chair and members, the query was on the issue of the strategic plan and annual work plan. I wish to start by acknowledging your request, and I appreciate your interest in these critical documents that outline our strategic directions and operational priorities. Honorable Chair, please receive the ministry's sincere apologies for not having uploaded these documents on our website. And in the same breath, Honorable Chair members, please receive our promise that by end of this week we will have those documents uploaded on our website. We have brought with us here copies of those documents for your reference. On the third query, Honorable Chair and members, pertaining to the high number of vacant posts within the ministry, which as at Q4 last year was at 27% or 44 vacant positions. The ministry has been actively working to address the vacant positions. Just Q1 of 2024, we have filled in a number of officer level positions because these are faster to fill in because the interviews are held by the ministry with Public Service Commission sending a representative. But as you go higher in the hierarchy, the interviews are held by the Public Service Commission, and at times because of the high demand filling of vacant positions across MDAs. Sometimes there are delays. We did fill in a number of posts. However, we also lost a few members to sister MDAs. At the time of reporting, Honorable Chair, we currently have 32 vacant posts, and we continue to work diligently to fill these positions and mitigate the impact on our operations. Honorable Chair and members, please allow me to request, we have provided details as you have requested on number 4 concerning the fourth quarter report, financial report. But allow me to request the Acting Finance and Administration Director to provide a summary of the financial report as per your request. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, on issue number 4, for the quarter report, which did not provide total adjustments by Treasury for the year 2023. We have provided the information, the detailed information, original budget, requirements, allocated reserve, revised budget, cumulative expenditure, include cumulative release, balance, and budget balance. We have provided the tables starting from the total for the ministry. We have 2 programs, Policy and Administration and ICT Development and Promotion. So our revised budget was at 33 billion 762,981,402, and our cumulative release was 31,810,709,993, and our cumulative expenditure stood at 29,109,974,992. This was, we also provided the information classified into compensation of employees, social goods, current grants, acquisitions, and capital plans. I'm not sure if I go by program. Policy and Administration, original budget was, the total original budget. So we have 4 sub-programs. The first one is ministers and permanent secretaries. Second one is finance admin, HR. And the third one is internal audit. The fourth one is legal services. So our original budget was 9,499,498,000. And the requirements which were done and the allocated reserve of an allocated reserve of 4,578,026,048. And our revised budget was 14,217,016,961. Our cumulative expenditure was 13 billion, sorry, 579,755,299. And our cumulative expenditure was 13,472, 13,473,178,220. also provided this information in classified based on economic classification. Then on program 2, infrastructure development and promotion, we have 2 programs, ICT infrastructure development and management, management. Then there is ICT application services. The original budget was 7,887,198,000, and we received an allocated reserve of 11 total of 11,798,059,354, which gave rise to a revised budget of 19,545,367,241. And this one, the cumulative release was 18,954,694, and our cumulative expenditure was 15,796,572. It was also classified based on economic classification. And on item number 5, the utilization of the fourth quarter budget for ICT infrastructure development and maintenance program 2 stands at 88% utilization of fourth quarter budget, and reported the same utilization of disbursed funds. What are the reasons behind the underspending of program 2, and how did it impact on the program? Underutilization of the fourth quarter budget for ICT infrastructure development and maintenance was mainly caused by unfunded batches which we processed. The Ministry of Finance could not, since we are operating on a cash basis, there was no cash to fund this batches. So they issued the treasury letter after the 31st of December that we should reverse all the batches which were unfunded. This resulted in us low budget usage of 38%. Then on item 6 and item 7, we combined the responsibility. It was item 6 was in the fourth quarter of 2023, the ministry spent 4.7 billion, which accounts 52% of the allocated resources for that quarter. The ministry actually received 7 billion from the treasurer, amounting to 78% of their budget for that quarter. What are the reasons for not effectively utilizing the quarterly fund? Then this item 7 was the goods and services expenditure. They used 65% of allocated funds, while under the chain of fixed assets spent 50% for the fourth quarter. Why was there low budget absorption and the utilization for the released funds? Yeah, the same answer was Ministry of Finance did not fund the batches that they released budget for. So the reversals resulted in us not utilizing the released fund. That was the major reason. Low budget absorption. Then on outstanding debts for the ministry, item number 8. We have provided this schedule as of date of reporting. our total debt stands at 37,531,616 bid. It's mostly made up of sub-related service providers, which is expenditure is unavoidable since we provide sub or PFMS to all MBAs. We are responsible for paying for the maintenance and servicing of software hardware for subsidies. So we are continuously lobbying with Ministry of Finance so that we get enough budgets to be able to pay for these service providers and reduce our debts. As of this month, Ministry of Finance managed to give us a UR allocated reserve so we reduced our debt from 62 million ZIG to 37.5 million ZIG. We were given an allocated reserve of 25 million, which reduced our debt. And we are continuously engaging with the Ministry of Finance so that we reduce our debt. And then over to CP number 9 to
Thank you, Mr. Mamunze, and thank you, Chair. On number 9, the query was on performance management. Can the Ministry provide examples and detailed information on the nature of capital ICT investment as reported in the fourth quarter report as having increased in the country? The Ministry reports a significant increase in capital ICT investments in the fourth quarter with a total value of 308.513.522.504. Breakdown as provided as follows: national switching 154.819.756.917, computer hardware and equipment 10.332.244.281, access 18.086.169.120, telecoms equipment 81.879.090.490, buildings and vehicles 33.747.258.400, and other investments 9.649.003.296, giving us the total as highlighted. On the 10th query, can the Ministry provide detailed information and list of 300 ICT labs established, as well as 39 ICT-enabled disaster management centers established in provinces and districts as reported in Q4 of 2023? We have provided a list there, Honorable Chair and members, of the schools that have been equipped, and I wish to bring to attention that on the aspect of this particular program, the Lab per School program which we are running, the Ministry does not run this program alone, but we also leverage on our relationship with our state-owned entity called Potras, who also provide funding for this program. When then we report, we put together the statistics for those schools that were funded by Treasury and those schools that were funded by the Universal Services Fund. So you will notice that the breakdown provides that we provides for those schools that we funded by Treasury alone, but there are other schools that are funded through USF, which is under Portras. In terms of the list of ICT-enabled disaster management centers, we provided also the list, Honorable Chair, of we've sorted this by province as well, and also the districts where we have these centers commissioned. On the 11th query, Honorable Chair members, can the Minister explain the reasons behind the Minister failing to meet a target of 20 in Q4 and a target of 5 in Q3 2023 in connecting government training institutions to enhance the usage of ICTs at governing infrastructure facilities? The Ministry failed to achieve the targets of connecting government training institutions to enhance the usage of ICTs at government infrastructure facilities, specifically missing the fourth quarter target of 20 and third quarter target of 5, due to the non-disbursement of budget support by the Minister of Finance. The project's progress was severely hindered by the lack of funding, which prevented the implementation of the planned activities, resulting in the unmet targets. On the 12th query, point A, the Ministry will provide an update on steps taken to address the following issues raised in the 2021 Auditor General's report. A, unreconciled year-end balances. The Ministry not resolve the variance of ZWL 5.091.092 between the sub-paymaster general expenditure and public finance management system expenditure. The Ministry has taken steps to address the issue of unreconciled year-end balances. Specifically, the Ministry has successfully reconciled the variance of 5.091.092 ZWL as highlighted. This reconciliation was submitted to the Ministry of Finance in compliance with the Treasury letter issued on 30 September 2022, which required all ministries to clear open items, and this also was cleared by the Auditor General during the just ended external audit exercise. On B, open or uncleared items in the goods receipt or invoice receipt account, the matter was not addressed. Prior items were still to be cleared from the goods receipt or invoice receipt account. Our response is as follows, Honorable Chair members. The Ministry initiated the process to clear the outstanding items in the GRI and IR account by engaging with the Accountant General's Office to reopen the period. PFM's office had advised us that other accounts were not open, as these transactions are of different charts of accounts, and some open items were affected by the system's fault. The government moved from a 6-digit chart of accounts to a 10-digit chart of accounts in 2019, and unclaimed open items from 2014 to 2017 were affected. We will continue to engage the Accountant General's Office so that a solution will be found, enabling us to promptly clear the outstanding items and reconcile our GR and IR account. On C, delivery of procured motor vehicles. This matter was partially addressed. 7 of the 13 motor vehicles were received. However, there are some outstanding motor vehicles yet to be delivered, and we have engaged the supplier, Honorable Chair members, and they they have given us assurances that they will deliver the vehicles this month. In fact, in our last conversations with the supplier, which happened last week, the supplier informed us that the vehicles are now by the border at Beitbridge, awaiting clearance, and we should receive these vehicles this month of June. So we are hopeful, honorable chair members, that by end of this week we will have a different report on that particular item. On the last query, number 13, the ministry should provide an update on the steps taken to address the following issues raised in the 2022 Auditor General's report. A, unreconciled year-end balances. The appropriation account expenditure of ZWL 5.496.795.943 was at variance with the total expenditure of ZWL 2.901.464.417 that was disclosed on the sub-paymaster general account. There was no evidence that monthly sub-PMG reconciliations were being performed. At the time of concluding the audit, the variance of ZWL 2.595.331.526 remained unreconciled. Our response, honorable chair and members, is that the ministry has taken corrective action to address the issue of unreconciled year-end balances. We have successfully reconciled the variance as stated and submitted the reconciliation to the Ministry of Finance and the Auditor General. Additionally, we have implemented a process to perform monthly PMG reconciliations, which are being submitted to the Ministry of Finance along with closure certificates. This ensures that any discrepancies are identified and resolved in a timely manner, maintaining the integrity of our financial records. Part B of number 13, reconciliation between the main Paymaster General account and the sub-Paymaster General's account finding. Treasury Circular number 1 of 2023 requires that a statement of reconciliations between the Consolidated Revenue Fund main Paymaster General's account and the sub-Paymaster General's account's transactions be prepared and attached to the appropriation account by January 30, 2023. The reconciliation assists in validating the accuracy of expenditure reported in the appropriation account. However, at the time of concluding the audit on June 8, 2023, the ministry was yet to submit the return. Our response, honorable chair members, is that the ministry had committed to submitting the statement of reconciliations between the Consolidated Revenue Fund main Paymaster General's account and sub-Paymaster General's account return by 30 June 2024, as stated in the external audit exit meeting. We have since submitted the statement of reconciliations between the Consolidated Revenue Fund main Paymaster General's account and the sub-Paymaster General's account to the Auditor General's office. We were informed that the audit had already completed, hence our submission direct to the office. C, and final query, submission of annual report finding. The ministry did not submit for audit its annual report for the year under review. This was contrary to section 32(3) of the Public Finance Management Act, chapter 2219, which provides for non-financial information such as activities, outputs, and outcomes to be submitted together with the financial statement. Honorable chair members, the ministry's annual report for the year under review has been submitted, providing non-financial information on our activities, outputs, and outcomes, in addition to the financial statement. I submit.
Thank you very much, Chief Director Sanda. Team. Honorable members, all conclude the report. It's your time now to
which improved access to ICT. Ministry kuchipa kwaita here magadhens acho here kana kuti access yacho mageji asati aimprova kugeja kumarura here vose panofanira kutaura nyaya yekuti kuurban so far kwakamira sei zvichisiyanisa nekururawo kururawo kwakamira sei urban kwakamira sei ukaita amborera kuti improved access to ICT zvinogona kupesana nekukomishina kuti seriously uzi maonera mukuone maona tikuone zvakasiyana. You must differentiate kuti urban kune percentage yakati, kurural kune percentage yakati. Uzi siba panapa ndichibva kuchinga mwati improve ndogona kurambana ndogona kuzama. Even pamati improve the ICT investment zvakamuta zvemalanguage yacho ndo patinenge tichipesera kuti zvaimprova papi because pandenda tichitaurira vanhu kumusha kuti ICT access yata improve, investment yata improve, nditosita komiti kwacho. Saka hazvizoenderana kuti inini panenda kupa feedback yangu sienda pamukomiti tofuna kuti tichinyatsoziva kuti kana kuri urban yaimprove and such what are the causes that cause us to improve and I'm
sure you read this consent. We'll take a round of 3, then they will respond.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. And my question goes to the acting PS on the community information centers. You said you have invested in this. Do you have any plans to put these community information centers to rural areas? I see you put some centers in the post offices. How about in rural areas? Why don't you put these information centers like in schools? Yeah, especially in schools or the other government institutions.
Thank you. Another information. Any other issues, other members that you've noted?
to aid panhauya ndataura iyai taura panyaya literacy. Inini handitobva ndakazokuzivira kutobaya-baya kuno kundataura kurushinga hakuna kana connectivity, hakuna kana zvekuita kutaura izvozvo. Saka ndakada kuzvinzwa kuti bese ndakati no one must be left behind. Connectivity ichiita tichiti zvinofana kuaplya kana zvaita kuharare zvisina kuita kuruzeva, tinoda kuziva kuti kuruzeva zvinoita rini, zvichaita sei. Right now vanhu vari kushandisa pane kuchikoro vari kuita macomputers kumusha hakuna. Saka tikati improved kanza nyaya yemangano kana nyaya yemalebhu ICT lab kumusha vakatozva kuti ICT lab vanozotokanga kuti kulebha kuti kuchipatara hospital.
Thank you. Yabani, last time before we check
I wanted to weigh in on Honorable Mbani's question, but also going for another question. The issue of ICT access in the rural areas, particularly to the school-going children, is paramount, mainly because most of these Education 5.1 promotes smart education. It is very important for the ministry to focus on that area. So I wanted to know what is the penetration rate of smart gadgets in the rural areas, particularly focusing on school-going children from the ministry? And my second question is, in his presentation, the PS mentioned that the total 27% vacancy rate, which is very big, particularly for a critical ministry like the Ministry of ICT. What are the plans that are there to close that gap? Because manpower is critical in this ministry, and having a 27% vacancy will be debilitating so much for the ministry. So what are the plans that they have to also close those gaps? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Chief Justice Wanda and the team. You can respond to our testimony.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you, Honorable Members, for those further responses. I'll respond as I have understood them, and I'll request my colleagues to assist, especially on the aspect of CICs. Mr. Director Nyamuru will assist me. However, Honorable Nyaban, Honorable, I went to school in the rural areas. I empathize personally with the digital divide between urban and rural. And I'm one of the people who appreciates the need to close that gap. Most of our lab per school initiatives in the recent years have focused mainly on rural schools more than urban schools. The reason being, we deliberately want to close that gap. What then happens when we go out, besides the obvious issue of limitations of resources, which I'm sure the committee is aware of, because when we do our budget, we come here. When we then go out to scope for schools in each province, which we wish to capacitate, quite often it's not the ministry who comes up with these schools. It's a consultative process. We consult all stakeholders and we say we are targeting this school and this school. When that has been done, we then send a team that then looks at the prerequisites for us to have a computer lab at a school, which will be power, which will be, a safe storeroom, secure place to store the gadgets, because these gadgets are targets for theft and robberies and the like. And sometimes, and I've seen these reports personally, you want to assist the school, but there are not enough facilities at the school for you then to pass it to say we can install a lab there. What then happens, just as I was coming here in the morning, I was receiving a follow-up from a school in rural Chinoy, whom I'm assisting. We then say, okay, these are the requirements. Let's work together with the parents in the community and just put a screen door, put an additional storeroom, and then once that's done, then we capacitate. So on that one, Honorable Nyaban, I want to submit that the ministry fully understands the need to bridge the rural-urban digital divide, and we are actively involved in this way. And my office, and I speak again on behalf of the PS office is open. Should you feel that, there are specific areas that the committee wants us to look at, we 100%, support that. Because like I said in my opening statement in response to your plea, I was educated in the rural areas, and I understand what it means. So you have my full empathy, and you have the full empathy of the ministry. We will try as well in our reporting going forward to show the extent to which new investment is going towards rural areas versus urban areas. Where investment is coming in and is not government expenditure. Commercial investment usually goes where there is a greater population and there is business return. But government on its own is actively going for areas that do not have coverage, where we are building base stations through contracts. Primarily so that we can again bridge that rural urban digital divide. There was a question on the CICs. Yes, I must admit that the post offices, by nature, they are in the urban and semi-urban centers. We do have what we call village CICs that are containerized, that we implement. However, these cost more to deploy, but we've deployed in quite a number of these, and I'll ask Director Nyamuri maybe to give a more detailed, response to your query. I admit that we need to do more in terms of having these village CICs. Once again, it's an issue of resources, Honorable Majin. I want to use this opportunity as an appeal to this committee and to Parliament. Because we have said we want to go towards a digital-enabled economy, the level of investment that we are putting in this particular area versus our desire, there is a mismatch. And I think we need to bring more resources, especially to the Ministry of ICT, for this project, so that we can be able to satisfy each and every corner of Zimbabwe. The last query was from Honorable Mavudzi. I hope I got your name correctly. It's again on ICT access in rural areas and the issue of access to gadgets besides the laptops, the smart devices and other gadgets like phones and tablets. So government has a company that is called Zitco, which is based in Masasa, which is mandated to produce tablets and laptops and desktops. And in our view, this is an excellent strategy to ensure that we lower the cost of gadgets. From where I stand, if a gadget would cost, say, the price of 2-3 goats, because these are the assets and the resources that are available in rural areas, then it's easier for a parent and a guardian who is in the rural areas who has got these assets to then exchange them for a gadget and empower the child who's going to school. And this strategy, I feel, is good. However, ZITCO hasn't received enough funding to produce enough gadgets for the entire economy. I'm aware that there are, should I say, efforts to ensure that this year there will be a higher output in terms of their production line. But I believe that this is a key strategy that requires the support of everyone, as it will lower the cost of gadgets. On the issue of vacancies, Honorable, you know, there is a high demand for ICT skills globally. In fact, when you check in the Western world, you will notice that every year they will publish to say Canada requires 250,000 new ICT, you know, employees, the USA and the like. So the staff turnover for ICT employees is quite high. Personally, I've rarely stayed at a job for more than 3 years, except once. And it's reflective of the staff turnover in the field. Now, what has been happening in the ministry, and this is the experience, people come in fresh from college, they work for a year or two, they gain some experience and skills. They work on these key projects. If you're working on a national project, you gain massive experience. And they are taken up by either other MJs or private sector. So we are almost always recruiting to replace the ones that are leaving. And on the same vein, I want to thank government and Public Service Commission for their incentive for ICT engineers, where they offered, you know, an incentive to say as a retention strategy. But still, I'm appealing to say we need to do more, because there is a huge variance in terms of what an ICT engineer is earning should they elect to work for government versus what they will earn in the region. And so you see that there is huge movement in the sector. That is the reason why you will notice probably every year we will not have zero vacancies. It's because people are moving. Thank you. I'll request Director Nyamuri to elaborate further on the CICs issue.
Thank you very much, CD, and thank you, Chair. I don't want to labor much. The Chief Director has said a lot, I think, in terms of bridging the digital divide, especially on the community information centers. Yes, working together with our postal regulator, that is Fortress, we embarked on the project of actually designing new fabricated containerized village information centers. Considering that they are expensive, we are trying to remodel this project so that we identify areas, Honorable, where there are no post offices, and then we can actually construct something that is bigger and which can accommodate a number of initiatives which can actually bring the digital divide. But when we did the VICs, we did up to around 40. But since they are not cost effective, we thought of looking forward to building a structure for areas where we don't have post offices. I think that is what I may need to highlight from my side.
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you. Honorable Nyabani, follow up.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Secretary Ministry of Transport. In a department, zvataisa isusu kupari zvino kune maministries ari kuita that is kuisa macomputers kazhinji takaisa kunana kuna kuRDS office kuzvitupa takaisa kumapassports tikataisa kana kutaisa zvinyaya yekuti izvo kuzimura vatikonekta nemabusinesses kuti tirege kuita maleakages. Seministry mune imwe branch renyu riri kuitawo chimhanya nezvibhodzi hatingangoita zvongoti maministries ayafana kungotora chiri zvinhu kutora chiri kubva kunze kunana Dubai vachienda kotora ikoko vachikonekta kuno zvikafa vaenda kutora futi vanhu voko vachagadzira kuno. Muri kuitawo sei seministry kuti mukwanise kuitawo e-commerce e-governance munyika muno chii chamuri kuita seministry because hatifanongora tichibhuya nezvinhu zvekunze.
Thank you very much. Honorable DC Bachino.
Thank you so much, Chair. I have two questions that arise from questions that have been asked by colleagues earlier. Does the ministry have a simulation of containerized labs that can go and be installed, plug and play kind of things, schools in rural communities? We have a plan linked to my second question. We have a plan for local manufacture of these gadgets. To say we are seeing a lot of containers in the country here, some in metal, some in wood, and even some buildings that can be done quite quickly. Do you have a simulation to say this? We just pick, we are going to install it, this rural school, it has got its own energy source, it has got the computers that are needed, we install it this one. That's the first part. Then the second part, which is linked to the first part, is does the ministry have a plan for local manufacture of ICT gadgets? As Honorable Nyabani was saying, are we improving our capacity to manufacture anything locally, or we still want to continue to go overseas to get our ICT gadgets, or to rush to the private sector where we give them tenders, and when we're giving them those tenders, they are the ones who then go overseas with no local manufacture. So my question is on local manufacture of these things.
Ningada kungo kutama na unavyokwambia India ni information center achilikuwa tora se village business kutongoza information center wafona ngazi hapa mimi ministry yenyewe kupatana na ministry ya small business hapa kuna offer ya kila ya India wanapata kuja export from the village kutoka kwa hapo au kutumia magari sawa sawa September au village business sasa nyinyi mlipita wapi tunenya ya kunisema information center ili nguvu za mama ministry but the ministry is the youth na kuisama watu kwa kitu cha kunisema mungu patana naye mungu pata kuisha komisheni yenyewe papo kwa baadaye mungu chukua timu nenda anakwenda na tuone rupe safari sasa ndio mshiriki information kana kwa yote tunoroesa katawala kauli kwa ndio Mugida says what it is as though we are not speaking with each other. When I see team again the drive, but it's almost similar to the Minister of Youth, the Minister of Women Affairs. Information can be putting that point into the family. Before I can ask outside.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, mine was still to say, you know, what is the ministry doing to try and minimize the issue of recruiting all the time? Because when the time invested in recruiting
it doesn't give the nation anything. So I thought maybe as the ministry, they might come with something that will then help them keep their skills so that they don't recruit everybody.
I will hand over that.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members. Once again, I will rely on my colleagues to fully respond to the issues raised. There is an issue on, was an example given, that Ministry of Transport, they have CMED who construct roads, I think, and there were two questions. Are we going to make our own gadgets, and are we going to develop our own solutions instead of importing? So I did highlight earlier that the government has a company called ZITCO, which is situated in Masasa, which is primarily mandated to develop and manufacture gadgets for the consumption of the economy. The first phase following the launch of this company, so little appetite to get gadgets from the company and also to invest in the company. Ministry is working together with other stakeholders in government to come up with a policy which we are proposing, that maybe in order to capacitate the company, we come up with regulations that are staggered to say, year one, if year one is 2025, each MDA, when they procure their ICT gadgets, a certain percentage has to be from ZITCO by policy. And then we slowly increase. The reason is so that confidence in this locally produced product grows and usage grows, and through that way we see import substitution, we save on our foreign currency, and also create more jobs locally. Honorable DC, I didn't get the full name, but I captured the DC part of it.
My apologies. My apologies. Is Honorable Decent Bachila.
Okay. Bachila. Yes. Does the ministry have a simulation or design of the containerized CICs? Yes, we do have a design, self-contained environment. And you highlight the aspect of it having its own power source. Yes, you can power it using solar. The challenge is the moment you want to power it using solar, you increase the cost, the initial cost of deployment, because you want to have, more resilient batteries and more panels. So the initial cost of deployment goes up. I don't have the actual figures by how much now, but where you don't have off-the-grid power from ZESA, the challenge is when you want to power using solar. So your initial capital expenditure is higher, so you now have to do just a few. But it's good that we can share that. Maybe there are other interested partners who wish to then come in and bring in resources, and that will certainly help. India example, Honorable. and also kuti tiri kushanda here nemamwe maministries. Mukatarisa pano, so ministry yedu ndiyo ine mandate yekuita zvese zvichikuita ne-ICT. So tomboti semuenzaniso vekufinance kana vachida kuita zvinhu zveku-ICT vanenge vachida kuita zvinhu zvavo zvinovabatsira kubhadhara vanhu kuita sei, asi vanozoshanda netimu redu kuti pacomponent pane zvichikuita nezve-ICT pakubhadhara vanhu, timu redu ndo richavabatsira. Veku-youth as well, pavanenge vachivhura ma-vocational training centers, pavanoisa macomputers muyamu, havazotauri pamwe sezvamamboreva zviya haisi nyaya kuchakureva but nyaya kungotiwo mbiri umwe nomwe anomira nezvake. Vanokwanisa kukangamwa kutaura kuti no, izvi zvaitwa neve-ICT vachibatsira donzo reministry yavo. Saka amuri kuona ari kuvhurwa neyouth aya, makombiyuta acho vanhu vari kunosungira, vanhu vari kunoita kudzidzisa vanhu vachashanda imomo vari kutobva kwatiri, havanyamuri avo ndo vanotoenda vonosungira zvinhu zvazvo netimu ravo, then avo vozoshandisa. Saka chokwadi chiripo ndechekuti Second Republic yakava nechinhu chinonzi whole of government. Tinotosungirwa kuti tishande pamwe chete, pasazoita umwe munhu anoda kuita zvimwe zve-IT isu tiripo. Saka pavanoda kuita chavo chinenge chine IT vanobva vatitsvaga tobva tabatsirana pamwe chete navo. Maunza nyaya yakanaka yekuti ngaive business center, kwete just center yekuti tinongoona masaisa inokuita sei. Chinhu chekuti ndanyora pasi pada kana tapedza kutaurana kwatikuita dare ravhara, ndichazonyatsogara nemi pasi, ndichatora madetails enyu kuburikidza nevanoshanda kuparliament, ndonyatsonzwisa kuti kuIndia vanozviita sei, nekuti rimwe gore ndashoterwa neschool fees yemwana, ndakatanga kutengesa maapple, ndikatanga kutengesa maorange. Ndiri pakati pekutengesa maorange ndakasangana nemunhu aiti maorange vaya anotengwa zvisingaiti kuDRC, asina handina means dzekuzviita. Saka kune zvinhu zvatinotengesa zveshuwa zvinowanikwa even kumaruwa, zvekuti zvine market iri kunze, zvekuti tikaisa model yekuti pataisa village CIC, pataisa vocational training center, munhu paanosvika toisa information, ruzivo rwakaenda kuti kwakati kunodiwa maorange kana uchiwana maorange, kwakati kunodiwa. Ndakaona umwe munhu ari kutengesa muti unonzi mubve kuti unorapa cancer kuAmerica. So tikaisa information iyo vamwe vanhu vanobva vawana mari, nokuti pane zvinhu zviwanikwa muno mubedzi. So inyaya yakakosha stereki inokwanisa kubatsira kuumba maekonomi ekumaruwa munyika medu. Honorable Ndlovu vabvunza panyaya yemaskills migration, chii chanoita seministry kuti tibate vanhu vasakasira kutiza. Seministry angachibatsira kudzidzisa vanhu. Munhu akauya aine first degree kana ane diploma, tamupa basa saofficer, tatimubatsira kuti tomubhadharirawo kuti aite masters. Ndo zvatachita pari zvino, tombomubhadhara kuti aite masters. Pane bhadhara kuti aite masters, handiti tatomusunga mbira dzakondo ombomira nesu kwemakore mairi, tiitombonama kudai akatombofoira imwe module ombogara futi kusvikira paanopedzera. Asi akangograduata pamwe anobva atiza, asi paanga achidzidzisa takamubata. Zviri kutotibatsirawo kuti vanhu vanoramba vari
you might keep them. I think I've kind of my
mainjiniya segavheni ngatito vanopuhwa mastems nelocal authority topuhwa 15% topa vanhu vachizviita madhokta azoti vasazopa ozana munhu ane fixed asset akwanise kubuda buda nangona musinga achida chikoro.
Recommendation that I just said about voting in the chair. In this conditions, the PC also mentioned that
policy is legally behind
Voice.
Right. He said that policy is legally behind ICT policies. So my question is, if there are any areas that the ministry is actually looking at, legislative areas, policy areas that the policy can help craft so that the work can be easy. And the other question is actually also probably in the same vein, issue of funding. What are the challenges that you're facing from when it comes to funding, particularly from Treasury, given that you are facing challenges with funding?
Thank you. Majindu.
Thank you. Mine is a question. We have read that Starlink has been given a license in Zimbabwe. When are they going to start to operate in the country?
Standing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Maybe if I could also abuse my position here and make my own submissions. Firstly, on the village container efforts, I think that is quite commendable. My plea or my recommendation would be, can you also include other players? I know we are doing quarters, there are other players who are also into ICT. Let's approach the efforts of this one to see how best, if they could also, as a way of corporate social responsibility, as a way of giving back to the community. We know it is those guys, they've got the capacity to sell their idea as well, so that we will reach out to as many village areas as we can. Secondly, I also wanted to add on what Honorable Mabiki spoke about, the issue of synergies with other ministries. VCTs, they provide that space to set up. So I believe if you engage other ministries as well, it will really go a long way and it will assist in your effort for these information centers. Just at the start of your submissions, when you spoke about the key result areas of the digital economy, that response, it just sounds so theoretical. There is no flesh as to what exactly you are doing to make sure that you are doing your part in enabling that digital economy. Honorable Nyabani touched on something that I also thought about, to say, exactly when you are talking about the digital economy, for those guys who've been to Tanzania, you see those vendors in Tanzania, as they are going around their business, there is a gadget for tax collection. Whenever you pay, I'm sure those who've been to Tanzania, you know, that's a deliberate effort to see that we are going somewhere. Just last weekend, we were at a workshop talking about the linkages or the opportunities that arise from digital gadgets. So many tourists, as they come into the country, all that they come with is a voucher. Payments have been done. But how then do we collect our taxes? We need to make sure digitally we are empowered to do that. When the tourists produce their voucher, we don't care wherever the money will be. We will just demand that, okay, we are doing this activity, where is our 2%? So I was hoping you could touch on issues like that, because that submission is just so empty as it was solitude that, for lack of a better word, it just says digitally enabled economy. There is not really much. But on the gender, I see you really spoke about the efforts that we are making. Thank you, Chief Director. All right.
Kana kutenga moto, watera moto, amkwambia kana usina kutera redio, utenge moto anatera moto. Saka mimi sema kabisa serikali kuti kana usina business usina kuno connect kusina na kusi autane business. Then mimi magana around nchi nchi. asi makasimba muri kumashure zvamakaita izvi tichachanga nomusoro.
Okay, very fast. We want to hear.
Thank you, Honorable
Honorable
Chair.
Fute.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Mine is a kind of clarification. Person, I'm not so sure. Sometimes I'm absent for some of these meetings. Forgive me, Mr. Chair. Suppose what I'm going to highlight was covered in the show. I noticed presentation here in deployment of gadgets. There are thousands of these machines, lab technology, ICT, laptops, you name it. Issue insurance, I'm not so sure whether it's comprehensively covered. I've seen constituents conducted about one or two schools where they've lost this equipment, largely theft and things like that. I'm not so sure whether there is a plan, or if it's there, that it would be good. As can I see, I would have a suggestion that you could have a pool to utilize the numbers. As a ministry, more lead data insurance, there was a demarcated deploy. It's a huge budget. I will see some schools that don't have the control. And when they come over the rest of the government, the way these gadgets are being stolen and defeats the purpose budget deployment. So I would suggest Mangotura and India negotiate because of the numbers of your machines that you've deployed for good rates, the insurance. That's my submission.
Thank you. The last one from our side, Honorable DC Pajula.
Yes. Yes. One thing I also wanted to add as a suggestion is that local authorities are struggling to collect debt. And if you have seen in other countries, there's technology already being deployed to help that if someone has a debt of $100, they come to pay their monthly $5. There's technology already to say, from the $5 that we pay, we are going to take your $2 to the legacy debt and your $3 to the current payment. And then becomes that management of debt using technology without having the need to chase after people or to do everything. So I am proposing synergies between the ministry and local authorities to use technology to make life easy for everyone. And I think it is possible. You can check a lot of these things, and the ministry must be at the center of making life easy for everyone.
Thank you. Yes, over to you. We are promoting the pragmatic part. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. You were hitting me with a very big stick. I understand. We will take the suggestions and we will pursue them. The Indo-Zimbabwe MOU would certainly look at it and find ways where, as Minister of ICT, we can be part and parcel of its operationalization. There was a question on Starlink. When are they going to operate? I think there is a press release by the Honorable Minister Dr. T. Maletera this weekend, I think in the Sunday News, where though the company said they will be operational within Q3, the ministry is pushing that they be operational probably before end of July, so that by the time we have the SADC summit, it's operational. And that's exactly what the Honorable Minister has said, and that's what is being pursued. I'm confident that there will be pronouncements soon as well to that effect. Those are the efforts that are happening. Yes, we need to include other players, especially operators in the sector or even outside the sector in terms of deployment of village CICs as part and parcel of their social corporate responsibility. And where we can, those in the sector, we do rope them in, and they are quite supportive of our projects. I think probably going forward it may be prudent probably at some point to highlight the level of support that the sector players give us when we carry out our activities, because they do come in and support our initiatives. My sincere apologies, Chair. We will, through the office, provide details of what we are doing towards a digital economy. In our response to number one, we were highlighting the relations between the digital economy and the SDGs. However, we will provide a detailed report of what we are doing towards the digital economy. As we sit here, just one, which I will highlight now, but we'll provide the report, is we are about to launch a telemedicine solution, which we will have, will connect 174 hospital, provincial district and rural clinics, 174 on phase one of the 1,900 hospitals and clinics in the country. And we will also deploy one directing bodies here at the Parliament building, purely so that someone is not well, they go into a booth and they speak to a doctor who is off-site. And there is a computerized equipment that takes your readings and vitals, and the doctor can interpret and provide further guidance and management to the patient. So, telemedicine solution, yes. So, we are at the tail end of implementing and deploying this solution. So, this is just one of the many that we are doing. In terms of insurance, I must say offhand, I'm not 100% sure Ms. Mamunzi will help me whether the guys that we deploy are insured or not insured.
Though I think it's going to be tricky if you consider the position, the government position, especially taking an example of the government vehicles. You find the bill of paying insurance might be bigger than neglecting the problem at hand. So we'll actually do a research and then come with programs.
Indeed, yeah, but sometimes the countermeasure is costing more than the loss, potential loss that, but it's an important point which I've taken note of, and maybe we need to get guidance on the actual values. And like you said, we negotiate because we have volume, and we see how much we need to pay. That will definitely help. Local authorities struggling to collect debt, and also the use of technology to make life easier for everyone. So we have a basket of projects under what we call Smart Zimbabwe Initiative, and we are looking at having smart cities and smart villages. And in the process, as we speak, we do have a solution that we are working on that relates to that directly relates to local authorities, traffic management, then using IoT for refuse collection. There are alerts to say there is an overflowing dump site there, and then also collection and reading, smart metering, and that when it's there can then result in automated debt collection systems for local authorities. The moment we go digital, and we are encouraging the entire economy to go digital, it means that, especially in an economy like ours, where you have a huge component of the economy being informal, the potential for revenue collection grows, because a significant amount of business activity goes untaxed because it's informal. So once we have, like what you were referring to, Honorable Chair, where we have these gadgets, even for informal markets, we also increase the potential for revenue collection for government. The government can also do more. So these are areas where we are looking at it. We run hackathons and we work with young people, with young minds, who can then help us design these solutions. And with your support, I'm sure we can.
Thank you very much. Probably you missed on information from obviously on the policy front. If there are any omissions that may enable you in work with policies legislation.
Thank you, Chair. I did take note of it, but my apologies that I missed it. We, like you rightly highlighted, because technology is moving fast, you realize that always your policy is always behind the place at which technology is moving. So we have emerging technologies like IoT, like AI, artificial intelligence, like blockchain. We are developing policies to regulate the usage of those. On top of my head, we are in the middle of developing the AI policy. In the process of gathering the request information from all stakeholders, it will be prudent and certain we will come to the committee for assistance and also for input. We will definitely do that. I've really taken note of that, and we will be coming. It's not just the AI policy or other policies and regulations that we need to develop in support of emerging new technologies. We will come through. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Swanga and the team for your time.
I think the other support that we might need from the community on the budget itself. If you look at how much we are spending to service our SMEs, and considering the budget we usually get from Treasury, even the financial releases, they are not enough. We might need your support because it's actually a big challenge. We are trying to, we are facing problems driving some of our projects, the major projects.
We noted it, especially on your submissions.
Okay.
Made up by Treasury. Thank you so much, gentlemen. For my last words to you will be, please, can you start preparing for the 2024? We are already halfway. 2024 first quarter report, so that